Hello, and welcome to Arctic's Cool Game Facts. This week we'll be covering the great classic, Bioshock. It was kind of a flip of a coin since I wrote 2 scripts for this week, so we'll be doing the other one next week, which means I'm actually already ready. I could film anytime. Anyways, on to the fun. Bioshock was released in August of 2007 by 2K Games, and was a pretty successful game, borrowing from role-playing and horror survival games. Which, does that make it a survival RPG or a horror? It doesn't matter. On to the facts! Most of the story is pretty much based on Atlas Shrugged, the book. In fact, you can see quite a lot of references to the book in the game because of how much it takes from it. Still pretty cool. I mean, they made an entire game series off of a book from, like, the, long time ago. In Bioshock, it's a really cool thing, but you have to kind of notice it when you're trying to find the distilled water and stuff, and you're in the winery. In one of the rooms, you can find on the floor a block of cheese, and actually, it's a couple. It looks like Pac-Man. It's eating the dots. So apparently, Bioshock was going to take place originally in an abandoned World War II Nazi laboratory that wasn't discovered until the 21st century. Apparently. Not sure how that would have changed things. That would have been interesting, but I think that needs to be a game of its own. Now, I personally have never heard of this game, but apparently Bioshock is a spiritual successor to System Shock 2, and it takes a lot of stuff from it. And it's a lot of how we got Bioshock 1. In fact, if I remember correctly, it really was supposed to be System Shock 3, but it ended up being Bioshock. So Universal Studios and 2K had decided that they were going to make a movie, a Bioshock movie. And it was going to be directed by Gore Verbinski. And pardon me if I slaughtered the last name. But due to the fact that Watchmen didn't do as good as they thought it would, and a couple other things, they wanted to decrease the budget from $200 million to $80 million. And Verbinski, or whatever, really was not a fan of that. So they ended up having to bring on a different director, which 2K didn't like. And in the end, it just kind of was like, yeah, you know what, we're done. And that's how the Bioshock film never got made. Probably a good thing, given the fact that most video game movies tend to suck massively. I mean, just look at it, Blood Rain. So, from what I heard when I was verifying something I had read, someone thought they'd seen Stubbs the zombie in the game, and actually what it turned out is the faces for the splicers were based off of a book of mugshots from, like, the 1940s. So, either 40s or 50s, something like that. So, yeah. Real people's faces were used as inspiration for the splicers, which is where you can get someone thinking that they saw Stubbs, since Stubbs was spaced in the 1960s and would have, kind of that look. So, kind of cool. So, apparently, on a table in Andrew Ryan's office, after you've de-armed the lock, you can see Jack, the protagonist's face, in the security camera pictures that are on the table. Apparently the only place you can see his face is in those pictures. Kind of cool being able to see what you look like, because you're the only person it could be. Nifty. So, originally, you were going to be able to prey on the little sisters, and when you did, the big daddies would attack you. Well, 2K didn't like the idea of punishing the player for doing something right, so they changed it. So now the little sisters are invulnerable until you've dealt with the big daddies, which is kind of nice and kind of bad. I mean, I wouldn't have minded it the other way around. It would kind of add some nice gameplay, but since they didn't want it released until it was fixed, I guess we're stuck with it this way. So when you're in the projection room, if you look at the projection film, you'll notice that the logo, that it's a logo. And the logo is for Irrational Games, which is the people who developed Bioshock. When they ended up becoming 2K Boston. So that's kind of cool. It was Irrational, they became 2K Boston, they developed Bioshock, and now the story is complete. And all of this can be found in the game. So, the voice of the protagonist was Nate Wells. He was an employee of Irrational Games who later went on to become the art director for Bioshock Infinite. He was also one of the people who helped design the Big Daddies. So, yeah, the iconic big guys. It's kind of cool. Just the more you know. Thank you for sitting through this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Comment if you have any games that you like to suggest for the future. And don't forget to subscribe for weekly Game Fact videos, Game Lore videos, and gameplay videos throughout the week. Until next time, have fun.